Yo, it's your boy Chris, and I am back. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show late night edition. It is actually early morning, April the 5th. It's about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time when I'm recording this. So you guys will get it as soon as the video is done. As soon as the video is done, I'll upload it here to share a couple looks that I actually haven't placed any bets, but a couple of things that I would be betting. We'll see how the injury report shakes out. Just know I won't have time to make a video tomorrow morning as I typically do. So figured I'd make one late night tonight. So yeah, son got soccer tomorrow. It's been a busy week. Just got back from vacation. It was great for people who reached out. Appreciate you guys all. Let's jump into it. So we'll start with a quick recap. On what day did I leave on? Tuesday? Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. I did the overnight video. I talked about liking the Thunder minus the 13.5. There was a winner. Same night, I took the Clippers team total up and over against the Pelicans, and they fell, I think, a bucket short after scoring just 22 points in the first quarter. Pretty frustrating there. Orlando is what I bet on Thursday night. They allowed the Washington Wizards without Jordan Poole to shoot 40% from the three-point line. But Carrington had a career high like 39, and Orlando won the game by 12, I think. So I lost that one by a bucket. Very frustrated about that. And then tonight, Friday night, my only play in the NBA was Boston team total up and over. It was a little shaky, but they did get to, I think, 125 against the Phoenix Suns. Should have been a little easier, but we'll take it. They went to the third quarter shooting a three-point ball really bad, but they knocked some down in the fourth. So overall, last few days have been kind of break even. You can see I'm up about 1/10 of a unit, so not a lot at all. The dark days of the NBA with about 5 games left of the NBA season has been kind of scary, if I'm being honest. Kind of scary as far as playing size and totals. But see if we can find some winners for today. As we always do, we'll start with jaXon, your AI sports betting handicapping partner, assistant, tool, homie, whatever you want to call it. For tomorrow's game, there's actually a player prop that I like based on what jaXon says here. So jaXon, the simple prompt was, what is the best NBA player prop for April 5th slate based on last 10 game hit rates? jaXon likes Dyson Daniels of the Atlanta Hawks to go up and over his rebounds and assist prop. Line set at 10.5 minus 120. He's hit it in 9 of his last 10 games. It is a very strong strength of schedule. Opponent defense versus opponent rank as far as him playing against the New York Knicks. But he has gone up and over. Like I said, in 9 of his last 10 games, the Knicks do rank 6th in defense against the position, but Daniels' recent form and consistent production makes a solid bet today. So take Dyson Daniels up and over his rebounds and assists is what jaXon says here. He has been getting a lot of usage, and I wouldn't talk anybody off that play. As far as the second prompt, I always like to give you guys 2 last 10 game best NBA total based on last 10 games, and jaXon likes the over in the Bucks and the Heat game. It says that the Bucks are averaging 118 points per game, and they're giving up 115. This total average is about 233 points, which is significantly higher than the total for the game, which we'll talk about in just a second. The Heat, despite their slow pace, have seen an uptick in scoring, averaging 113 points per game in their last 10, while averaging 113 points in their last 10 games, while allowing 114. So they're combined for 227 points. Combined, they're averaging 230 points over their last 10 games. Pace-wise, the Bucks are 8th in their last 10 games, significant factor in driving up the scoring opportunities. Even though the Heat are 27th in pace, their recent offensive efficiency has compensated for their slower tempo. So, the Bucks defense is slipped. The Hawks, the Heat's defensive rating is pretty good in that span. We'll talk about that. But yeah, jaXon likes the over. Excuse me, I feel a sneeze coming. jaXon likes the over between the Bucks and the Heat tomorrow, and also likes Dyson Daniel up and over his rebounds and assist prop at 10.5. So yeah, that's what jaXon likes. Check jaXon out. There's a link in the description for 50% off whatever referral, whatever subscription tier that you want to sign up for. So, excuse me, my allergies kicking my butt, man, even late at night. So that's what jaXon like. Let's jump into it. So First game up, we got a matinee game. This will be the New York Knickerbockers. They will be in Atlanta, taking on the Atlanta Hawks for the last time this season. These teams, excuse me, man, allergies kicking my butt, as you can tell. These teams have faced off 3 times so far this season, with the New York Knicks actually winning the first 2. They won at home. They went into the Garden in the in-season tournament game. They beat them again, beat this Knicks team again. And then the Knicks got their revenge in the most recent matchup. So we start with the injury report here. Crucial injury report here, critical to the game, because Brunson could make his return. He is listed as questionable. Cam Payne is also listed as questionable. There will be no Deuce McBride. And then Mitchell Robinson is also on the report listed as questionable as well. So we'll see if those guys actually play. Brunson being the big one. I think Atlanta's going to be pretty much at full strength. I see Trey pop up as probable as always with the Achilles injury, but I think they'll have everybody else. So I'm looking through the game, and it is third game in 4 nights for both teams. Atlanta third game in 4 nights, Knicks third game in 4 nights. Atlanta's actually been doing a lot more traveling than the Knicks have. In their last 5 games, well, 4 of their last 5 games have actually been on the road for the Atlanta Hawks. They just played a first leg of a back-to-back at home. Then they had to go to Dallas. Now they're back at home, and they had to travel a little bit before that as well. So that situationally sets up for the Knicks. The Knicks are also coming off a loss where they got smoked in the second half against the Cleveland Cavaliers in their last game. But to make this one really, really quick, the thing that jumps out to me the most is how bad Atlanta's defense has been recently. They've given up 100. Most recently, they gave up 120 points to the Mavs. They gave up 127 to the Blazers. Lost that game as well. 124 to the Bucks. 122 to the Heat. And then before the Heat, and we know the Heat hadn't been scoring, they gave up 121 to the Rockets too. Those are the last 5 games. 120, 127, 124, 122, and 121. I know that it's Jalen Brunson's first game back. I get it. I know that the Knicks are the slowest paced team in the NBA. But I think in order to beat the Knicks, you're going to have to play fast. The Knicks will not allow you to beat them in a game that's like 112 to like 110. They just play. It's too many possessions in the game. So I like the Knicks team total, whether Brunson comes back, whether he does play, doesn't play. I think the Knicks are going to be able to score the basketball here. Atlanta's 24 in defensive rating in their last 5 games. And it has come against some pretty strong strength of schedule. They're 8th in strength of schedule. And as far as trends go, I look at Atlanta. They played 6 games as a home dog since the All-Star break. They're 1-5 against the spread. They've allowed 5 of their 6 opponents that were, road favorites in the game against them to clear their team total, en route to giving up an average of 126 points per game. So I think, like I said, even though the Knicks play slow, they are dead last in pace in the last 5 games. Atlanta is 3rd in pace in their last 5 games. They're also the fastest paced team at home. So give me the Knicks team total up and over here. We'll see where the line goes. I haven't bet it yet, but that will be the play in this game. Knicks team total up and over 120.5. I think that they get there tomorrow. Next game is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Philadelphia. We'll just call them Philadelphia. They don't deserve a name right now. This team is really, really bad. And I won't stay on the game too long. The only reason I haven't bet this yet is because we see funny stuff happen with the injury report already. This line opened, I think, 14.5. It's up to 15 already on most sportsbook, and the total hasn't really moved a lot. There's some 224s, some 225s. I do think that I will be looking a little bit more towards the over than the under. We'll talk about that in just a second. I did see that Kyle Lowry is out. Oubre is out. Of course, no Maxey, no Embiid. Philly is just a train wreck, man. The Timberwolves actually been playing some really good basketball. They need to win. Do they need to win by 15? They don't, but they should be able to smoke this Philadelphia 76ers team. I mean, everybody is. And you want Minnesota typically on the road. At home, they don't cover the number as much. 21-17 against the spread on the road. Philly is 11-27 against the spread at home. And that's even with them getting these big numbers. They've actually only covered 1 of their last 10 games. They're the 4th worst offense, 6th worst defense, and that's against the 6th easiest strength of schedule in their last 5 games. So even though they've been playing, some pretty poor opponents, they still have been getting absolutely smoked. They have slowed their pace down. They're the 11th slowest team in the NBA over the last 5 games after they were running before that. In their handful of games before that. The Minnesota, I'm just looking at it, just looking through the matching the teams up. They should be able to score at the rim in this game. They should be able to score in the paint, and they should be able to score from the 3-point line, specifically at the rim and at the 3-point line, which is where the two favorite places to score the basketball. Philly's perimeter defense is terrible. The rim defense is terrible. So I think, not looking at the game too easily, but I mean, that's what Philly is right now. It's Minnesota, team total over in this spot. I think it's 119.5. They've scored 122 or more in 3 of their last 4 games. The only time they went under was in their last game against Brooklyn. And we know Brooklyn plays the slowest brand of basketball in the NBA, and they actually, try to play some defense too. The Brooklyn Nets do at times. So I do think that Minnesota gets back to their scoring ways in this game, probably relatively easy. I'll be looking at a Minnesota team total up and over in this game. I know Minnesota is not a team that pushes pace a lot. They play pretty slow, but if this game, if they want to, they can score in transition too, because Philly is not a great transition defense. Here's my hesitation and my hiccup with playing this the night before, as I see the total continue to go up to 225.5, is that Anthony Edwards sprained his ankle pretty badly in that last game. He did come back. He stepped on Coach Jordy Fernandez's foot. He did come back. He finished the game. I know that Anthony Edwards don't like to miss games, but it wouldn't surprise me if Coach Chris Finch and that coaching staff said, you know what, Anthony Edwards, we shouldn't need you to win this one. Do the Minnesota Timberwolves need to keep winning for playoff seeding? Absolutely. Do they need Anthony Edwards to beat the Philadelphia 76ers? Absolutely not. So it wouldn't surprise me if Anthony Edwards was ruled out. If he's ruled out, then of course this number comes down, and then I'll bet it. So that's my thought process on this one. Next game, we go to the Memphis Grizzlies and the Detroit Pistons. This line opened at 1. I see it up to 1.5, mostly just ones. Total hasn't moved a lot, 239.5. And this game is going to be interesting. Memphis has Vince Williams Jr. ruled out. Of course, no Brandon Clark. He's done for the season. Detroit, we kind of got to wait for the injury report. Cade was listed as questionable. He was upgraded to questionable after being doubtful about 4 games in a row. And he could potentially make his return. If he makes his return, I do expect the Detroit Pistons to flip from a 1-point dog to a 1-point favorite. And as gross as it sounds, man, I kind of like Memphis in this spot. And I can't give you a whole bunch of analytical reasons why. I'm a very analytical guy, but I also watch the game, so it's eye tests that come along with it. I'll just say this: both teams need to win. Detroit is trying to hold off Minnesota, who's only a half a game behind them, for 5th in the East, and Memphis loses and drops to a play-in spot if Minnesota wins against the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow. I think is how that works. All of the teams in the Western Conference right now that are ahead of Minnesota just keep winning. Outside of the Golden State Warriors keep winning. They did just beat the Denver Nuggets, but Memphis was as high as 2nd, and because they are 3-7 straight up in their last 10 games, they're actually in 6th place right now. So if Minnesota, and they're tied with Minnesota, they own the tiebreaker over Minnesota. So if Minnesota wins, which Minnesota probably will win against Philly, this Memphis team will drop to a play-in spot and looking like they'll be hosting the Clippers, which they might not even do that because the Clippers are only a half a game behind them as well. So Memphis really needs this game tomorrow. And that's why I kind of favor the Memphis Grizzlies here. I think there's a big sigh of relief for the Detroit Pistons. So we got to look at the spot here as well. Memphis just beat Miami a couple nights ago. So they got the rest advantage. They got to Detroit before Detroit even did, because Detroit had to play in Toronto. So you gotta come through the border, all that good stuff. And it feels like, to me, I'm watching the post game interview earlier with Coach JB Bickerstaff and Jalen Duren and some of the guys, and it feels like, to me, they exhaled a little bit after beating Toronto tonight. Coach JB Bickerstaff shared some thoughts. He said, and I quote, "It's a big deal for this group. This is an opportunity for the group to reflect. It's a credit to the organization. It's a credit to each one of those guys in the locker room." And when I'm reading those comments, I'm thinking to myself, or I'm watching the post-game interview, I'm thinking to myself, if you are exhaling on the second leg of a back-to-back against a Grizzlies team that's hungry, granted, the Grizzlies have not been great. Don't get it twisted. I think Detroit is better than Memphis right now. This Memphis Grizzlies team is bottom 10 in both offensive and defensive rating over their last 5 games, all that good stuff. And to me, it's more of a feel spot. They've owned Detroit. They've won 8 straight. They've covered all 8, including the earlier matchup this season, back on November the 27th in Memphis. They were 7.5-point favorites. They won that game by, I think, 18. For Detroit, first game back home after a 3-game road trip, no rest either. And like I said, I think they exhale a little bit. To Memphis's credit, like just trying to find some things to back Memphis. They're 1-4, both straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. They didn't even cover the game against the Miami Heat. They lost that game. They ATS wise, they were laying 4, won the game on the Ja Morant buzzer beater. But they played a really difficult schedule. They lost to OKC. They lost to the Lakers. They lost to Boston. They lost to Golden State. I mean, you can't really fault them too much for losing to any of those teams. But then they did beat Miami, and I think that win gives them a little bit of momentum moving into this spot. Detroit's by far the better rebounding team. You need Desmond Bane to play well. You need Jaren Jackson Jr. to stay out of foul trouble. But I like Memphis in this spot, man. I really, really do. And like I said, it's not an ATS thing because Memphis is just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. Detroit's actually been profitable playing unrested as well. They're 9-4 against the spread. They've actually covered their last 4 in a row, playing on no rest as well. So it's not like Detroit's going to come home and lay an egg. But I think the Grizzlies are the right side in this game. We'll see what happens with the injury report. I want to be on the Grizzlies, though. If I end up playing it, I'll send it out to the members, and you guys, the members will know. So that's my thought process on this game. I think Memphis needs it more. I think Detroit could be a little fat and happy after finally clinching I don't even know if I mentioned this. They did clinch a playoff spot tonight. They actually clinched the top 6 seed for the first time since 2018. So it's been 7 years since this team has made the playoffs. And you don't got to look back too far. Last year they lost 28 games in a row. So are they happy? Will they celebrate tonight? Probably so on the flight back. Memphis needs this game tomorrow. I want the Grizzlies. That's my thought process. All right, next up, we got the Bucks and the Heat. And this is actually the last one I'm going to go through. I'm not going through the Dallas and the Clippers game because right now they're currently still playing. Clippers beating the brakes off of them. Have no idea if Anthony Davis is going to play. The Clippers could potentially rest Kawhi Leonard on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's way too many variables for me to even talk about that game. But we will talk about this Bucks and Heat game because there's a play that I want to make here. So we start with the injury report here, which is important because Tyler Hero is on it for the Miami Heat. I was going through, doing my due diligence. Tyler Hero's been listed questionable, I want to say 5 or 6 times this season. He's played in every single game except the one that I actually bet when I took an over when they were playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He set out, he had a head cold. But all the other times he's been listed as questionable, he's actually played. I think it's a thigh contusion, happened in the game against Memphis the other day. We'll see if he plays. If he plays, so you also got Hayward Highsmith listed as questionable. AJ Green is listed as probable, and Giannis is listed as probable. Of course, no Dame and no Bobby Portis either. I think both of those guys are still out. I know Dame is still out. I think Bobby Portis is going to continue to miss games as well due to the suspension. Another game where both teams need the game. Milwaukee's only a half a game in front of Detroit for the 5th place in the East, and Miami's in 10th place in the last play-in spot. And they could be hosting Chicago in the play-in spot versus going to Chicago to play the play-in spot. Both teams got about 5 games left before the playoffs actually start. So Miami needs this game in the worst possible way. They didn't have to travel at all. Of course, they lost, like I just talked about, to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies on the buzzer beater. Ja Morant over Khalil Ware to end the game. So I'm looking at the game, and the thing that I want to play here is I want to play the Miami Heat. Not sure if it's full game. I'm leaning more first half. This Bucks team is well, start with the Heat. If Tyler Hero doesn't play, I want anything to do with him. I do think that they need Tyler Hero, especially without Wiggins being out indefinitely as well. The Heat have played without Tyler Hero 3 times this season. They're 1-2 straight up in those games. Losses to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Boston Celtics. They did beat the Cavs in the most recent one back on March the 5th without him. But I don't really want the Miami Heat because I know that they can struggle offensively. The reason why I do want the Miami Heat, if Tyler Hero plays, is because they've been profitable at home first and foremost. 21-17 against the number. They're 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. By far the hottest team in the NBA. Them and, of course, the Thunder. And they got triple revenge in this spot. They lost all 3 games to the Bucks. They didn't cover any of them. The play I want to make, though, is Miami early. First half, Miami sounds like a winner to me, man. They're 10-3 against the spread this season as a home dog in the first half. This is where they play their best brand of basketball. Then they typically let go of the rope. They can't finish the game, and they end up losing the game. Miami's actually the most profitable first half team in the league this season at 45-30-2 against the number. And in their last 10 games overall, they're the most profitable team as well. 9-1 against the spread in the first half in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, the Bucks are just 3-7 against the number in their last 10 games in the first half. And we've seen them really start the games out very, very slow. Miami is also top 5 in offensive rating last 5 games. They're the 6th best defensive rated team. And the Bucks, a little shaky, man. 28th in defensive rating, 28th in opponent effective field goal percentage. So teams are shooting the ball well against them. They're also 29th in offensive rebounding rate. So they're giving up a ton of second chance opportunities. And not to mention they're 26th in opponent turnover rate. So not forcing any turnovers as well. I think Miami early in this game, with the significance of it, is the right play. I'm expecting Miami to be a +1. I think it's a +0.5 out there right now, but I think that number will change to a +1. And then based on Tyler Hero's injury status, I like Miami to win the game as well, but I think first half is probably the better look. I want to get in and get out with Miami. I think that they can win the first half. So that's my thought process on this one. Miami early, then kind of just see what happens after that. But I do want Tyler Hero in. So those are the ways that I'm looking. As far as, like I said, the other game, Dallas and Clippers, I'm not even going to talk about that game because I have no idea who's going to play. So we'll keep that one off for right now. Best of luck if you are betting it. You got any action in it. So yeah, recap. Knicks team total up and over. The Hawks defense has been trash. Minnesota team total up and over. The Philadelphia 76ers defense has been trash. Memphis, I like them, man. You can get a -118 right now, but like I said, I want to see what happens with Cade. It's a very, I hate what the NBA does this, but it's very dependent upon injuries for tomorrow. Because I like Memphis to win the game, but you can get a better number probably with Memphis if Cade gets ruled in, and he was already listed as questionable today. And then Miami, I really want Tyler Hero to be in, and I want them +1 for tomorrow. Didn't bet anything for today. If I'm looking to bet, this is what I'm liking. I do like the look that JaXon gave out as well with Dyson Daniel up and over his rebounds and assist prop. So that's what I'm looking at for today, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting. Resources that I use to handicap the games are all here. There is referral links in the description for every one of them. Check out Outlier, check out Moneyballer, check out OddsJam, check out JaXon if you are looking for sports betting tools to make it easier for you to handicap the games and save yourself some time while also making some profit, man. And that'll be it. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting. I will catch you guys on Sunday. I'm out.